Hey guys, Snoob reviews here, and no, it's been a long time. So I wanted to try and be committed and stick to doing my videos weekly, but it became a bit of a burden, and had to take some time off. I had too much work going on. I had a vacation and just other priorities, so streaming was easier. Took that route, but yeah, I came to address some of these things and I think I want to do a video breaking down the last couple chapters I missed up to the current chapter. And I'm going to kind of just riff through a bunch of them relatively quick. And I'm going to kind of do this in a different format, format this time around. Uh, there's not going to be as much clipping and stuff like that. Like, I'll probably do some more in the next video or something when I have time to prep for it. But most of it will probably just be me talking and reading through the chapter, more similar to like Roger Bass or someone who reacts to it rather than like Tekken or someone who uses a lot more images clipped in. I like to do that, but it takes a lot of time to clip it all and put it all together, the way I do at least. And so, yeah. Anyways, we're coming back in chapter 916, the Great Sumo Match in Wano Country. And the front of this magazine, Oda got to do the whole front magazine, and it's Luffy just picking out on like a McDonald's burger. And there's a coupon inside for I believe a free burger. Uh, you'd have to get get the magazine. I don't even know if you could claim it in America. At this point, you probably couldn't claim it because this was like 2 months ago. But anyways, I like the art. It's actually really nice, really well drawn. Luffy's got a huge grin and just stuff in his face as usual. Burgers got everything on it. I mean, the cheese is just going through everywhere. An egg on bottom, bacon strips, good old fresh lettuce. No, it's a decent uh, magazine cover. So, and then we get a double page spread of the gang hanging out in summer gear. Yeah, it was the end of summer, just before we got into this real Wano stuff that we'll be talking about later. Uh, that's the way I'm saying it. It's more or less it's came in later. Oh, nice. I left Karina up from my stream. I use her a bunch of different girls from One Piece, the treasure cruise for waifus to show off. Anyways, let's hide her. Uh, anyways, yeah, no, it's the whole Straw Hat crew just in different summer gear. You got Sanji chilling on the left side, smoking next to a watermelon. Luffy looks like he's attacking a pinata or something. He's got a bat and he's blindfolded and jumping out of the water. And Chopper looks like he just got back from some kind of Japanese festival. He's wearing a kimono and he's got some fireworks. He's hanging out with a squid. One that looks like Luffy was hanging out with too earlier. I guess the squids are kind of the theme. There's a couple of them hanging about. Got Nami just looking phenomenal in a bikini. This actually was one of my favorite double spreads I was using as a backdrop in my streams. Frankie combing his hair like a sweet summer stud, and got Robin and Brooke and Usopp grilling up some food and chilling on some wild blue, and of course Zoro just eating noodles in the flashiest of Santoryu style. Yeah. Anyways, where we left off before was we had Okiku chop off Yokozuna's top knot, and so Yokozuna's still rolling from this. He's quite upset, and the crowd's mocking him. I mean, there's a bunch of people laughing at him. They're like, not only did Urashima get dumped, but he lost his top knot too, and Yokozuna is scorned. He feels completely and utterly embarrassed and betrayed. And so yeah, he screams at Okiku that, you've betrayed me. Like, it's so unexpected to him, which she was never interested, and he kept pushing and pushing. And so she just handled things the way she felt like she should. But yeah, everyone's reeling and realizes how mad he is, and Okiku's kind of questioning her judgment. She's like, why did I do this in front of so many people? She feels like she's made like a big mistake. It was out of character for her, I guess. And so Urashima's like coming to strike her down. He's got this massive pose, a sumo hand just coming in. And everyone knows that he's gonna send her flying with his Equinox Hariti. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's an open palm strike. And they're not even allowed in like sumo wrestling matches nowadays. But he's not the type of person to hit a woman, is what a lot of people are saying Okiku even says. But he's so mad and he feels so betrayed by a lower class person that, you know, he can't see straight. And Luffy eats this up. He's got a big grin on his face. He's ready to fight. And so he pops right in and he comes back because he wants to sumo wrestle like anyone else. This chapter was really good. I really did enjoy it because, you know, Luffy just got off on sumo wrestling. It's something his body's not made for, but it is, you know. And he does an open palm strike back at the guy, and they're, you know, going back and forth. His is called Supari, is what he calls it, but the way they explain it is a sumo term, form of Hariti, a series of open palm strikes towards the face, neck, and upper body that can be fatal. And so they're just going back and forth at it. I don't think there's conqueror hockey going on, but yeah, they're just having this tense back and forth, and they send each other both reeling. They're both flying backwards, scrambling to catch their fall, you know. And everyone's kind of shocked that Yokozuna's even been moved. You know, there's been 20 men who could go at him at once and couldn't move him. And the scrawny little Luffy's just coming in with all of his might. But yeah, Luffy doesn't want to lose. He wants to win it like a fair sumo fight. He's been challenging him to a sumo wrestling match the whole time. And Okiku is screaming, you know, like a cheer girl on the side. She's like, Luffy Taro, you can do it. And so they're both safe. They both almost went out of the ring, but they managed to catch themselves. And so Yokozuna starts breaking down, you know, he wants to understand why Luffy's butting his head in. He's like, what's your relation to Okiku, and what the hell did you do to block my Hariti? And he's like, get out of my way. If I don't rip Okiku limb from limb, my honor will be tainted. So he feels like he has to kill her to assert his dominance, reaffirm that he is the strongest, especially after being embarrassed in such a way. And so Luffy says, all right, if you can beat me, you know, and he goes in and he's like, let's sumo wrestle. I'm great at it after all. And he's so stoked on it. So it's this pirate and sumo wrestler aspirant, Luffy no Umi, fighting record, complete victory over Usopp. So he's fought Usopp in sumo, and so he feels pretty confident, you know, he can be a sumo wrestler now. And so everyone else is just laughing. They're like, this guy's crazy, he's gonna get killed. And so Urashima comes in with another one of his special moves. It's a Hariti, which is, yeah, those dangerous sumo open hand fists. I guess there's can be super fatal. He calls this one Buddhist Hariti. And Luffy's just, you know, popping up and around. He's just, no problem. All those weeks with Katakuri just paying off. And everyone's kind of like, hell yeah, this guy's pretty agile. Like, this dude knows what he's doing. And other people are kind of like, I can't believe Yokozuna's letting him even dodge these. And people are just saying he's lucky. And then, someone makes the comment, you know, if you keep running, you're not going to win. Luffy's just taking his time. He's just enjoying it. Yokozuna tries another one, ear splitter. He, like, claps next to his ears. Tries to poke him in the eyes. This dude's a big cheater. And Luffy even calls him. He's like, hey, aren't those against the rules? He's like, whatever. He's like, stretches his arm out. Goes way, way back. Past Master Hold'em's base. And someone's telling Master Hold'em while he's trying to rip Okiku's face, trying to get the BB Dango to come from her face so they can control Beast still. They're still trying to figure out how to get it to work. So he's got these pliers and he's pulling on her face and she's crying. And they're telling Master Hold'em about the news of Yokozuna losing his top knot and how there's a huge riot going on in a stadium where the sumo is being held. And Hold'em just kind of doesn't want to deal with it. He's trying to figure out the deal with the Dango. You have Otama crying and she's just begging. She's like, I'll give you back your baboon. Please stop. And he's prying more out of her. He's like, you mentioned the Kazuki family earlier, didn't you? You shouldn't cling to the dead. And we get a little insight about the Kazuki family that really gets expanded upon. We've all been waiting for. And he talks about how, like, 20 years ago, the Kazuki clan was destroyed. There's nothing left of them. They're evil people that they needed to be gotten rid of. This is the way they're raising people in Wano, is that the Kazuki clan is to be frowned upon and feared as this evil denominating group that hurt the country of Wano, that's been tearing it apart, and that they're now fixing it because they're running this dictatorship within this communist country that's kind of closed in its borders and forcing the people to work for them and live under their strict and harsh laws under unfit living circumstances, and with little to no information coming from the outside world. So to them, what they hear from the superiors there is, honest to God, the truth. But Okiku has been raised outside the village a little and has some tie to the Kozuki. And then we get a quick view of Law and Beppo. You see Beppo and he's on the ground. He's like, I think I'm gonna die. He looks really sick. And Law's just yelling at him. He's like, didn't I tell you not to eat the fish from the river? He's like, why would you do something so stupid right now? This is not the time. And we have Hawkins, who's looking for Straw Hat, and he's trying to keep everyone to hang back until he gets there because he doesn't think they can keep up with him. It's probably true. Luffy survived a bunch of interesting encounters. But Hawkins isn't going to be a bigger help, in my opinion, either. I think Zoro could easily 1v1 him. I don't see why it'd be an issue at all for Luffy. And so, yeah, it cuts back over to the sumo wrestling match, and people are kind of trying to figure out what's going on. A bunch of people see Luffy's arm stretching over, and they're like, what's that? What's going on? What could that be? And Yokozuna is just screaming. He's like, she rejected the honor of marrying me and obeying a samurai. She completely insulted me. It's like, I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna crack her skull open and murder her. He's like, he's very pissed at Okiku. And Luffy doesn't even care. He's like, man, you're so loud. Just get out of the way. He's like, I told you that you can do whatever you want with her after you win. And Yokozuna's like, you won't be able to beat me. I'm number one in the country. And Luffy just yells, I'm the man who's going to be king of the pirates. And he goes, gum gum, no. Giant. Supari. And he does, he does this bone balloon where he blows up in third gear his bones. And he gets this massive hand and does like an open hand press. And just, it's the size of Hiroshima. Just sends him flying. He goes shooting off through buildings. I mean, literally half the town's exploding as he goes flying through it, and everyone's just blown away. They're like, they didn't even think he could fly. Nobody could send that dude flying, let alone, a tiny dude like Luffy. And then everyone all out of nowhere just notices Zoro's hanging out there. They say it's the magistrate murderer, and Zoro's like, what? So what? And they're all blown away that he's a part of the group. He's like, with the strong female swordsman and the sumo wrestling little shrimp, what's up with these guys? And so they call Hold'em, and Luffy and them are just declaring, we came to take Tama back. And everyone's just in a panic. They don't know how to react. So they're trying to get Hold'em and have him deal with the situation. Okiku is kind of not sure what to do. I think she's trained as a samurai, but hasn't been prepared to really handle a fight. I don't know how to put it. she seems inexperienced. She knows how to handle a sword. She's never dealt with real actual combat situations. But yeah, Zoro turns to her and tells her, he's like, you need to stop spacing out. He's like, I'm not gonna watch your back. And Okiku's kind of embarrassed and impressed at the same time. And that's at least what I take from her reaction. And no, I don't ship her with Zoro. Like I said, probably Kinemon would be kind of cool. And so Luffy's just knocking out dudes everywhere. He's like, just call him out there. He wants Tama back right now. And Okiku asks, she's like, should I cut him? And I don't know if it's Zoro, but it's Zoro Luffy that says slice through them if you want to save Tama. And so Okiku starts cutting dudes down because she says she does want to save her. And Zoro and them, they're all just searching for the boss. They're cutting dudes down right and left, and they're trying to get a name for the boss. One of the guys says, "Hold him," and Luffy says, "Come out here, hold pig." And of course, in Luffy fashion, got to get the name wrong every time. And he's just, telling him if he's done anything to Tama, he's gonna get his. And the whole town's in chaos. And then Hold'em shows up. He pops out on the roof of one of the massive buildings within the town and announces himself to Luffy. And everyone else, the town's stoked because they're all criminals and work under him. They're all stoked that finally, the big boss, the head of the town, showed up. And Luffy, is calling him out right off the bat. And he goes, so you finally showed up. And Hold'em just yells back, I didn't really have a choice, did I? And we get a picture of him, and he's got Tama in the mouth of his lion. And Hold'em's just kind of upset at the situation right now. He's like, how come you're destroying our whole city? How come you destroyed my house with your sumo wrestling? And everyone's kind of in shock seeing Tama in the clutches of this lion's jaws. They're all soaking in the person that is Hold'em, and man, he is a truly weird looking dude. And it's funny because he just always seems more pestered than he does scared or interested or serious. Just seems like everything he doesn't want to be bothered with. But yeah, that's essentially the chapter. Chapter 9, I believe 16. Yeah, 9/16, a great sumo match in Wano Country. And we're gonna move on to the next chapter, but I'm gonna take a small break here and go get a drink. And that is not the end of the chapter. There's one more page. And so Hold'em starts accusing him, saying that they're a part of that a thief known around the parts as Shuten Maru. And he says, well, I guess you want to rescue this kid. And he's like, I suggest not moving at all. He's like, she's within the jaws and I can crush her in a moment's notice. And Tom is just crying there. And Luffy's kind of just shocked. He's like, stomach's a lion? I don't know how devil fruit shock him. Any of the Straw Hats at this point. I mean, there's some weird ones, but at this point, it's just anything's on the table. And so everyone's showing up to Bakura Town. Hawkins is coming in hot on their tails because he doesn't think that Hold'em can handle it on his own. And Law sees this and he goes, I can't let this fly. He's like, I gotta deal with it. And so Law's sitting there, I think, thinking over how he wants to approach the situation. And Luffy just, says, I'm gonna save you, Tama. And Hold'em says, I don't plan on returning her, you dumbass. And Hawkins seems just stressed. He's just trying to get in there. But yeah, that's the end of this chapter. Okay, and then we'll move on. So this is chapter 9/17, the treasure ship of provisions. And on the cover page, it's Bellamy again. And it shows him drawing out a flag. He's got it all mapped out in this. I don't know what the blueprint is, but it looks like he's making a Jolly Roger. And I realized, I think I talked about this in the past video, but it's dry goods town. So it's just a lot of, like, it's kind of like a laundromat of countries, I guess. But the town uses unrippable cloth for a lot of their materials, so it's a really renowned town for that material, which is, I'm sure, badass. Probably love to have some clothes made out of that. That's for sure. I rip clothes like goddamn cool. Anyways, so we're back in Curry, Okaboro town, and everyone says, it's sure noisy in town. They're right on the outskirts of Curry. They're not Curry. Curry's the region they're in. They're right on the outskirts of what is the town? Maybe it is Okobury, and it's just showing outside of it, which is the town of leftovers. Either that or I can't think of the name. But one of the moms is just, yelling at her kid, saying, "You look unsightly," because he's crying, "I'm hungry." She says, "You're a man of Wano. You absolutely cannot show weakness." The kid just screams more. And the guy comes running up, he's like, "Otsuru, do you have any of that jigen grass?" And jigen grass is that healing grass they use when people drink the water or get toxic food. And the guy, says, "My child could not endure his hunger, and he drank the river water in order to sate it." And he's sick, so he needs the jigen grass. This is a daily occurrence within the town of leftovers. Just on the other side of this town, there's the Paradise Farm, deep within Bakura town. And they're just packing in tons and tons of lush food. Oda really goes all out with the food. I mean, it looks really good. It's almost like a panel from Toriko or something. Really food frenzy. But no, he's just showing, I guess, the wealth and quality of comparison to Okuboru compared to Bakura. And Bakura was the name I was looking for. And so there's some guy handing some money to the guy who's gonna deliver this food to Okaboru, and he gives him 5 silver, and the guy starts complaining. He's like, "There's no way I can support my family with this. This isn't enough." And he's like, "That's not even enough to buy clean drinking water." And the guy just starts stomping on him and just tells him, he's like, "You'll take what I give you and you'll be fine with that. Either that or just throw you in prison." And it cuts to a different headliner who makes an appearance, and a lot of people kind of freaked out about. I'm a fan of her, but it's not like I'm a fan of her. But we get Speed here, and we'd heard her name before, but we didn't know the gender or what to expect. But Speed is Umi Nomi, which is horse fruit. So she's like almost like a centaur, pretty much. Now she is a centaur, but I don't know if her form's always this. She's probably a gifter, so she doesn't have the original devil fruit, so it's like a half and half type deal. And she oversees, I guess, the movement of the food from town to towns, supporting the districts that Kaido and Orochi want to support. And she apparently has amazing vision. I didn't know horses, I guess, have this good of vision, but they can see in 350 degrees. I guess they only miss like 10% behind their head. So yeah, they have really, really wide range of vision. And she makes an unsightly face that we'll get to Robin making at some point. They're quite similar, teeth and all. But they're praising her. And he says, just what I'd expect from a horse when she talks about her vision. And she just smiles, this big toothy grin. She's like, "Is that so?" She smiles like a horse too, is what everyone says. She eats it up. She wants to be a horse. And then she goes back normal, and it's they hear a fire bell going off. And so everyone's in a rush to go figure out what's going on. And there's a bunch of people putting out fires while she's screaming, "Get that fire the hell out!" And she says that's Master Hold'em's house. What's with the path of destruction? And she realizes she's standing, and there's just like literally buildings toppled over like dominoes behind her in one smooth, solid transition. And she's trying to figure out what's going on. She knows there was a sumo tournament today. But leaving that, it cuts over back to Tama in the jaws of Hold'em's lion. And she's screaming for Luffy. And Hold'em's, kind of taunting Luffy. He's like, you said you were going to save her, and how exactly are you going to accomplish that? He's like, go ahead, try and make a move. Kamijiro, the lion on his stomach, which, yeah, he named the lion. He's kind of a separate entity. He says he'll rip her to pieces. So Luffy just yells back, very straightforward as usual. Let Tama go. I'll beat that lion up if you don't. And everyone's just kind of staring down. It's a very standoffish situation. I don't know how to approach it quite yet. So Hold'em's prying even more, and he goes, what? Answer one thing for me. He's like, did you know about the girl's powers? Did you know about her abilities? We're gonna hold you hostage so that we can lure that Shentamaru out. So they think, or Shootenmaru. Anyway, Shootenmaru. They think they're a part of his posse, his gang. And Luffy's just like, what the hell is that? I don't know who that is. And they just aren't buying it, they don't, at this point in juncture, they don't think someone's gotten into Wano. They know it's really difficult. On top of, it just seems unfathomable to them why you would come to Wano. And so at this point we don't know who Shootenmaru is, but we'll get into him later. He's gonna be a part of the story in a decent way, I'm sure, but I don't know exactly how he's gonna fit in. I think he's more or less just gonna be a fodder ally, someone who kind of just helps move things along. But anyways, it's still with the taunting. Hold'em he's very, very vulgar about his attitude towards people, and he's just so positive in his ability of being right. And he's like, even if you were able to beat someone as strong as Urashima, even if it was by sheer luck, he must be one of his top subordinates. Shootenmaru gets his ass kicked easily by Luffy. Easily. 2 fingers is all Luffy did. And so Kiku's kind of whispering in Luffy's ear. She's like, Luffy, don't make him mad. And Luffy's like, what? He's already angry. I didn't do this. He was already mad before I started talking to him. Kiku's like, I know. But we don't want to make him angrier. Needless to say, he's strong. More importantly, the people of this town aren't afraid of him. They're afraid of Kaido's most trusted subordinate. And who would it be his most trusted subordinate? None other than the moron Jack the Drought. Jack is a true and utter moron. He literally just fights with brute strength and for weeks on end, and then decides to use poison that takes 2 days to kill a group of people. And then when that doesn't work, he decides he'll just kill the goddamn elephant people right on and just blow it apart. But did that stop Jack the Drought? No. Did sinking him to the bottom of the ocean stop him? No. The man's a goddamn myth for how moronic he is. And he gets to live through all of it because he's half fish man and he has a devil fruit, and somehow that's better. Gills are like cheats, man, if you have devil fruits. Like, being a fish man makes having a devil fruit at least somewhat tolerable. Like, you can't use your abilities, but you're not gonna drown. And so, they're kind of talking about Luffy and Zoro and the rest of them. He's like, isn't that the guy who tried to destroy Zhao? And Luffy's like, oh, yeah. That was him? And he's like, the cat and the dog told us that they poisoned them. Didn't the elephant send him and his crew flying? And Okiku's just back there like, they're talking about animals? And he's like, what? I was sure that Jack and his ship sank to the bottom of the sea. And Okiku actually knows about this event. He's like, so you witnessed Jack's maritime accident. There's no way he's dead. He was spotted in this area a few days ago. So they're like, that's why if you anger Hold'em, you know, there's gonna be hell to pay. Jack's gonna come down here and he'll destroy this place. He's like, if you thought this was bad before. So Hold'em's getting tired. They're sitting there talking about the different things he said to them. And he doesn't care what they think about it. He just was informing them. And so he's kind of pushing the moment. He's like, remember though, the moment you make your move, you know, she's gone. And he squeezes tight, and that pisses Luffy off. You know, he just yells, like, stop, you bastard. And Hold'em's not the worst villain. Not nearly at all. But he does get pleasure out of torturing people. And he likes being above people he thinks are less than him, commoners, as he would put it. And he just keeps going on about his house being destroyed. He's more upset about his house being destroyed than any of the commotion and the fact that it's just disturbing what he was doing. Hold'em shows up with the massive food cart, and or no, not Hold'em. Master Speed shows up with the massive food cart of all the amazing looking food from Toriko. No, all the amazing looking food, and she's trying to figure out what's going on here, and everyone's freaking out. They're like, yeah, the provisions, the treasure ship's here. Hell yeah, the food's here, and everyone's starving, and Luffy's just like, man, there's a lot of food in there. That looks good. And Okiku kind of tells him, she's like, yeah, it's the provisions from the Paradise Farm. All the food there is grown with pure and clear water. It's safe food. And Luffy's just pissed. He's like, why do these guys? Zoro, you take care of these guys on this side. I'll rescue Tama. And Zoro just kind of apologizes to Kiku for the fact that, they're going to just make probably a bigger issue of things than there needed to be. But he's just saying it's the way they are. And Okiku's just kind of confused. She's like, don't do this. She's like, this is a bad idea, They'll send you flying. And near the main entrance, Hawkins is flying in. And he's trying to get to the plaza area. I guess it's in the 4th district, is what they call it. This town's a lot bigger than I thought it would be, considering Wano seems like a kind of prehistoric town, like it should be smaller. But anyways, Hawkins is trying to get a hold of Hold'em and figure out the situation. We see a sword that we all recognize, and a kimono that's been worn by a character, and a crazy straw mask. It's like goes all the way down here, kind of rolls in and out, and has a couple ventilation holes and sight holes. And just walking up to him, Hawkins can tell, he's strong. And it's Law. Law has made his appearance officially. He's entering the fray. Law. Trafalgar D. Waterlog has entered the fight. But he just goes on to say, he's like, we're lucky we're in Wano and it's an isolated country here that, the news doesn't even report here. He's like, or else we're screwed. We're gonna have to get rid of Hawkins already. I mean, this is already getting out of hand, and there's not paper to inform people that the situation of Luffy and all them. Yeah, we're tired. At this point, Luffy's pretty much seen red, so he's all in on Hold'em. He tells, Zoro to deal with the fodder on the ground, and he's gonna go get Otama back. And Hold'em's not even reading the situation. He's just, I don't really need 3 hostages. He's like, so let's go ahead and execute one of you right here now. Women, you've been chosen to come forward. And so, yeah, they set up Okiku for execution. And Luffy and Zoro just, they're ready. Go time. Luffy shoots up, and before anyone can even see anything, we see that Kamejiro's like really taking advantage of this, and crushing down on her. But yeah, Luffy shoots up real quick, I guess, and just swings a right hook out real quick and just bashes Kamijiro in the face, lying on his stomach, while taking Tama back. And everyone's kind of just in shock, you know, they didn't even see him. And Luffy's like, you know, telling Tama, we're going to make a run for it. He's like, so sorry for making you wait so long. And Hold'em's just freaking out. Like, all of them are just in a panic. They don't know how to react. They didn't see this coming. And he's like, you know, how'd you let him get by? And they're like, go get that girl back. And so they take the cart and they're heading back out. Probably towards Bakura Town with the supplies to drop off for everyone. And Luffy's holding Tama. He's like, hey, what happened to your cheek? Like, oh, I'm fine. He just pinched it with the pliers, that's all. Even though he wouldn't be able to get my Kibi Dango using them. And Luffy's just pissed. He's like, pliers? I mean, he's getting pissed already really bad in this arc. And so he shoots out of the car. Not car. What are they in? The van. And lets go of Tama. And she's like, big bro, I'm fine. You've already saved me. Luffy shoots up there, and he does, you know, classic gum no. And everyone's sitting back. You got Tama screaming, no, big bro. And everyone else is ready to watch Hold'em go at it. Hold'em even shouts out, he's like, watch this, the power of the chasing sword, the Kamakiri sword. And Luffy just jumps up, gum no, and then Red Hawks. And just comes crashing in on the dude's face. Just, God, he looks like Urashima now. And he's got a wallop behind that shit. So, we're going to conclude that here. That's 2 chapters in 1. We got chapter 916, the Great Sumo Wrestling Match. And then we also have chapter 917, the Treasure Ship of Provisions. Yeah, this is Snoob Reviews. The schedule's gonna be loose. Probably at most 1 video a week. It's rough. I wish I could do more, but I'm not having the time. I'm just not having the time to do it. So, anyways, guys, later.